All right, everyone. Trump unleashed a meme a few days ago. Would have, talked about it at the time, but I was busy packing, I believe, with, the look at this photograph thing and Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden has claimed that he knew nothing of his son's business dealings in Ukraine, which is a bald-faced lie. And we know that it's a lie, but somebody compiled a meme with this little clip, and it showed Biden actually a picture of him and his son at a golf course with a Ukrainian energy executive from this firm, showing, obviously you talked about it with him. You knew it was going on. You weren't blissfully unaware. Again, it's the big thing. It was like with domestic surveillance back during the Obama era. I said it would arguably be worse if he were truthful when he were saying he didn't know things were going on, because it shows that he was partially an absentee president, an ignorant man. I'd rather him just be lying. At least then he knows what's going on. He's aware it's going on. He's just comfortable and corrupt. I'd prefer that. I don't want a president who's out to lunch. But with Biden, he's making the same claim. Oh, I had no clue what was going on. Oh, my son was on this energy firm. He was a chair on the energy firm there for a country that we were undergoing active high-level diplomatic talks with involving billions of dollars. I didn't know what was going on, dude. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't talk to him. Of course, we know that that's a lie. So Trump lashed out at him. Then the big tech firms stepped in, and I guess Nickelback as well, to launch copyright strikes, DMCA complaints against the meme, and all of its derivatives cross-platform, and so it disappeared off Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and so forth because they attacked it. This shows the power of copyright misuse, and it is misuse. This was a derivative work. It took a 5-second video clip from a music video, mashed it up with a bunch of different material that was political in nature. Nobody watched this in order to pirate Nickelback's song. Nobody watched it to pirate cable news coverage. It was a mashup. It was a derivative work in the strictest sense. It clearly conforms to U.S. copyright law. The problem, though, is twofold. Number one, big tech, for legal reasons mainly, this isn't even technically their fault. This is a problem with U.S. copyright law, preempts derivative works all the time, gives extreme latitude to the copyright claimant because they don't want to get sued. YouTube is the only one, by the way, that has tamped down on this, which is to their credit. They are the only ones that now, at the very least, as far as getting kicked off the platform or suffering any detriment other than some muting in your video, you don't have as much of a problem. The DMCA dark days on YouTube were like 2010, dude. Trust me. If you weren't around on YouTube 2010 to 2013 or thereabouts, that was the dark age of the platform. Then you get into the golden age, and now you're in, I don't know, we're in the bronze age or something, or the copper age or something. It's better than it could be. It still needs a lot of work, trust me, though, in regards to censorship. It clearly conformed to copyright law, but these sites, they give that latitude, number one. And number two, these big tech sites tend to side, in some cases politically, at least the people making those on-the-ground decisions, with people who don't like Trump. Naturally, they're going to do that. However, they lost. What happened is that just made it more viral. For an additional 24 hours that nobody would have kept talking about it, because the novelty and humor wears off after 15 fucking minutes when you see a meme, most of the time, unless it's something totally mimetic, like a Pepe or Dolan Duck or something. One music video does not an entire series of memes make. What ends up happening is that the big tech sites shut it down. So it spread to alt tech sites, and so it went on BitChute, and it got spread around on Gab, and people were hosting it elsewhere, slapping it everywhere. And then it increased its exposure. Arguably more people were reached by it, and then there was fury, outrage at the big tech sites for the censorship, which raises awareness of that question. Of big tech firms, billionaires commanding multi-billion-dollar apparatuses and shutting down public discourse, shutting down human communication. I think increasingly becoming unpopular. Good. I think it's wonderful. Let them keep overstepping. Let them keep destroying some independent content creator so that another 1,000 or 10,000 or million people gets turned off to the idea of tech censorship just a little bit more. Eventually, you've flipped the paradigm. Eventually, people push back against it. We've seen it before. We saw it with radio. We saw it with cable. A lot of the stuff you can see on TV right now was cracked down on back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Cracked down on, banned, get people investigated and sued. A lot of the stuff you hear on radio, same thing. A lot of the stuff on the internet, technically speaking, same thing. Things are moving in a pro-free speech direction long term, but it is a very long term. And it relies upon us to fight these smaller sub-battles as well all of the time, and they'll never end. There is no victory. There's no final victory for liberty. You always have to fight some sort of tyrant, some sort of moron comes along, has a problem with common sense, has a problem with funniness, has a problem with people saying something edgy, and you have to fight them off. You have to beat them around the head a couple times. Sometimes it takes decades to defeat them. It's always worth the good fight, though. And then the people that did the fighting, they're shit on in the here and now. So right now they're an extremist. They're a Nazi for no reason other than they stand against censorship. But 20 years from now, no, they were fighting, for revolutionary fervor. They were fighting for liberty. They were a good person. They were always funny. And by the way, the same people that are opposed to them right now, all the cowards and morons of the mollusk media especially, they'll pretend that they were always on their side. Oh, I always knew it was a moral panic. I always knew the idea of YouTube radicalizing people was bullshit. I just said, I said the opposite at the time, but, I was misled. We were all misled. Nobody saw through the propaganda. And then, of course, they'll try to smooth it over with people that did see through the propaganda and telling them you are fucking wrong. So it's funny. The big takeaway here isn't the meme. Like, I chuckled at it, but it wasn't the greatest thing ever. The fact that it was going viral was funnier than the meme itself, almost. The big takeaway, though, is that big tech failed to muzzle it. They failed, for the first time, perhaps on a massive scale, they failed to put it back into the box, because what happened is that people simply took it and ran with it. And they did it even on the big tech platforms. They created a million derivatives of it on the platform with other songs or with other mashups or whatever, to the point where it actually made the meme stronger. I thought it was quite heartwarming. That's about all. Peace out.